We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Thursday, March 12th. I'm here with Al, Brandon, Lindsay, and I'm Tori. Let's get right to it because I felt like we lived a lifetime last night of what the news. Someone said we added 3 verses to "We Didn't Start the Fire" last night. All right, things are rapidly changing across the country to try and slow the outbreak of the coronavirus. This was the scene last night when the NBA announced it's suspending its season after a Utah Jazz player tested positive. Refs met on the court at the game before everyone in the stands was just sent home, and the teams were then quarantined. Check out what Rudy Gobert did, though, just days before testing positive, joking around. He went and touched all the mics after being questioned about the virus. No one's laughing now, am I right? Mavericks team owner Mark Cuban had this reaction to the news.
This is something out of a movie, and you just don't expect it to happen in real life. This is people's lives at stake. This isn't about basketball. This isn't about the Mavericks. This isn't about, when do we start, or do we start, or how do we start? I'm a lot more worried about my kids and my mom, who's 82 years old, and talking to her and telling her to stay in the house than I am about when we play our next game.
He's a mama's boy. Good on him. It's not just the NBA. March Madness will now be played without fans. The NCAA announced that decision yesterday as well. Meantime, everyone's favorite, everyone in the world's favorite actor, Tom Hanks, and his wife, Rita Wilson, are the first Hollywood celebs diagnosed positive with the coronavirus. They are currently quarantined in a hospital in Australia. Tom posted this to Instagram saying it felt like they had colds before they were tested. Luckily, in Australia, there are testing. And now they're taking it one day at a time while following medical officials' protocols and staying in isolation. Their son, Chet, remember he had the cool patois Jamaican accent, posted, maybe not that cool, posted this update to his social media. Take a look.
What's up, everyone? Yeah, it's true. My parents got coronavirus, but I just got off the phone with them. They both are fine. They're not even that sick. They're not worried about it. They're not tripping, but they're going through the necessary health precautions, obviously. But I don't think it's anything to be too worried about.
So
how come me and Brandon have to wear a shirt?
No, but before we get into this, talking about Tom Hanks and all that, to go back to Rudy, the Utah Jazz basketball player, before everyone jumps on him, he didn't know that he had the coronavirus right then and there.
Oh, I know
at that moment while he's touching on that. Now, a second Utah Jazz player has contracted this virus, and this is why everyone in America should be tested right now, because in the locker room, you're playing around, you're horsing around, joking, wrestling with your teammates and all, and you're doing it unknowingly that you have this virus.
Let me interrupt you right there. We don't have the tests. We absolutely don't have the tests.
We're
testing about 8,000 people a day here. In Germany, it's 10,000 a day.
I think like Tom Hanks and celebrities getting it makes it a little bit more real for us, right? So when you see Holly Pete Robinson, for example, be the face of autism, then that makes autism, even if you don't know anybody, real to you, right? So we look at Tom Hanks, who has it now, and we're like, okay, anybody can get it. You think he's invincible, right? He's a celebrity. So that's kind of why I think everybody panicked. And it came in a sequence of events right after Trump's press conference and then right after the NBA canceled. So it was a lot going on.
It was like, if Forrest Gump can get it, like he fought Vietnam and the Pirates.
He won a Heisman Trophy, too.
All right. Well, the president did address the nation last night from the Oval Office, which is his first time ever doing so in office, seeking to reassure everyone about the government's response to the pandemic. Here are some of the measures he announced. Let's take a look.
We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. The new rules will go into effect Friday at midnight. And these prohibitions will not only apply to the tremendous amount of trade and cargo, but various other things as we get approval. Anything coming from Europe to the United States is what we are discussing.
Okay, well, this morning we are learning of a few clarifications. Number one, everyone listen up, trade with Europe will not be affected. So when he said cargo, that's incorrect. Secondly, the travel ban does not apply to American citizens or their family members, which he did not include, although they will likely be quarantined. I gotta say, you never do a speech from the Oval Office unless it's really dire. And when you do, it's measured, it's thoughtful, it's thought out, and it consoles people, it heals people, and it reassures people. This, to me, full disaster, messed up the speech by saying cargo when he wasn't supposed to. And we have a clip of this is how he ended it if you were in the room. Take a look.
We're clear.
Okay. Okay.
We're clear.
Okay.
I know that people are going to get on me for being detailed about this, but that was like, yeah, I just finished, my brushing my teeth. This is like a pandemic, and I don't feel consoled at all or see any empathy on that man or getting the right information. Lindsay?
I think it's the mixed messages, right? So on the one hand, when Trump blocked travel from China, that was helpful because Italy did not do that, and they have the situation that they're currently in. But on the other hand, when you say you're blocking all European travel and don't clarify, then you have people who spent $20,000, like a woman in Paris,
we have a
who tried to get home last night because she felt like she only had 2 days to get back to the U.S.
People spent 20 grand on flights because after they heard what he said, they tried to get back before the midnight cutoff on Friday.
So it's just the mixed messages from WHO and our president and a bunch of people that are in charge that are constantly keeping us conflicted, and then we just have to rely on each other for information, which is just wrong.
Yes.
That's the problem. That's what happens. And, we've seen this with everything, whether it's vaccines, anything. When you don't have one consistent source that everyone feels comfortable going to, it may be the Surgeon General, maybe it be the WHO, you have a lot of people with conjecture, people telling you if you go to a sauna, it'll help. And, people don't know. That's incorrect, by the way. But people don't know, and that's a scary thing because social media does look like it's legitimate. If somebody's got a blue check mark by their name, that doesn't mean that they're a doctor or a researcher. That just means they're somebody that heard something that has an opinion. So please go to a source that you absolutely trust. That is MD, MPH, Master of Public Health, somebody that's in this field, an immunologist, somebody that you trust, not just your buddy, not somebody you like to watch on YouTube.
Well, I think 2 sources for me being here right now, because remember, I'm supposed to be in Germany. And,
can you tell us what happened, Brandon?
Well, my 2 trusted sources, the World Health Organization and Al Jackson.
Al Jackson!
Because I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there on my flight, and I had a stop in Seattle to go over to Frankfurt, and I'm sitting there.
2 hot spots.
And the 2 hot spots, and then I get a call, and I see Al Jackson on the phone, and I'm like, all right, pick up. And he's like, hey, dog, you know what this is about? And he was telling me, he was saying how, they were talking about Europe becoming a level 3 travel spot, and there's a chance you may not be back in the country. So I only had a couple minutes left before they were going to close the plane door. So I was sitting there on my phone, and I was looking up the World Health Organization.org or gov, whatever it is, and I was reading up all that stuff, and it was saying how, yes, you may not be able to get back into the country, or if you do, you would be on a self-quarantine for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't have that many paid time off for 2 weeks, but it was I had to make them let me off the plane.
Wow.
I was almost that guy.
I heard him tell the flight attendant, I'm getting off.
I was like, I'm getting off, and she was like, wait a minute, you can't get off yet. I'm like, lady, I might get stuck in Europe. I'm getting off this flight.
I'm glad you did. That sounds like
I'm here with no handcuffs.
It's like a Michael Bay movie. Great job, Al.
Hey,
I'm going to bring you some scones.
I got you, man. Yes.
I don't feel like that makes up for it. Retailers are all struggling to deal with the impact of the pandemic. Starbucks is even considering closing their stores as a last resort to fight the spread. They're also considering mobile order-only scenarios. Meantime, banks like Chase are urging customers to use mobile banking while also assuring people their ATM are disinfected daily. So with all the changes in the social distancing measures, are you thinking twice about your daily routine? I canceled a flight. I was supposed to go out. I'll also say quickly, in Italy, only food markets and drugstores are open. Every other store is shut down.
Wow. Yeah.
Every other store.
It's life-changing, and I think everybody is starting to adapt to it. And this is going to be life for a little while, but let's not panic. It's not the end of the world.
No.
Let's be adults about this. I love the way the panel's handling this. I love the way our producers are handling this. Please come to DBL. We'll only give you facts. Nothing to scare you.
And social distancing is a good thing to do for everyone. So it's a really sacrificial thing. So let's all be.
And how about a hand for Brandon for getting off that plane? Yes.
DBL is live. Coming up, a decades-old murder mystery is finally solved. How a stranger and a beer mug helped crack the case in True Crime Chronicles. And you, the viewer, are the 5th host. Steven Spielberg's daughter is doing porn, and she says her dad doesn't care. How would you deal with it? We're sharing your comments coming up next.
This isn't a liner.
it. I mean, we got to keep talking about. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we, I had heard from everybody that you were going to go, and people had told you, and you had already left for the airport. And I know it's something that you're really excited about. I mean, I had a gig in Miami that I canceled this weekend, but Miami, although it's really fun, it's not Germany. And also, you weren't going to Germany, and people should know this. He wasn't going to Germany for a beer festival. He was going because he was doing something he's passionate about. It was a football camp. Football literally runs through your veins. And so I know it was important to you, but I think you set the example for people that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than what you want to do. And you sometimes, whether it's me doing stand-up, which I love, or you doing football, like you made a decision.
Yeah, it's just.
And you seem kind of just down today.
Yeah, I'm down. It's a little unfortunate, man, because like you said, I was going to go to Germany and London to do these football camps, and this has been something that's been on the books for quite some time.
I've talked to you about for the last year about
and
this.
It's like you get so excited. You get, the kids been reaching out to you, Coach London, you're coming back. Can't wait to work with you, that sort of thing. And honestly, it was going to be 5 days for me to just get away. Just get away.
Yeah.
Not only because we do the coronaviruses and we do the stories that it's like it's on your head 24/7, but it was going to allow me to just go and live what my family has been, brought on this earth to do, and just help others through football and all. So I was really looking forward to
a lot of people with your story, because it showed people, because everybody's like, well, I can just go to this concert. Well, everybody thinks everybody else needs to do it except for them. And it starts with you. So.
Do you want to know a really? Oh, never mind.
Sounds like you were going to say something really interesting.
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host, and by now you've probably heard Steven Spielberg's daughter is launching an adult film career. Cool. Michaela Spielberg is 24 years old and is only doing solo videos. She reportedly tells The Sun her famous dad's not embarrassed. He even expected her to go into the, quote, taboo art. So DBL Nation, what would you do if your kid pulled something like this?
Okay, Jennifer on Facebook says, I would be horrified for sure, but not turn my back on her if she was my daughter. I would try to find out what was behind the decision. And I agree, you can't just turn your back on your kid like you're saying, but I definitely would tell my kid, you're going to have to relax and make another decision. I don't say they would listen to me, and I would not disown them, but that would be my opinion to them.
All right. Jalen on Facebook says, it's her body and her life. Good for her. Yeah, if I don't have to pay any of your bills, I don't have to pay your health insurance, it's all on you. You're a grown up. Go do what it is that you want to do in life, and that's how I feel about that.
All right. Sammy on Facebook says, this has to be a dad's worst nightmare. It's the moment you regret having a daughter. Yeah. Sammy, you had me right up into that last part. Honestly, and I understand where you're coming from, it's scary for a parent. No different than a face tattoo would be scary for a parent. And I say that I equate those two for this reason. They both stay with you forever. And I think the thing is, usually an adult has been 24 before. The 24-year-old obviously has not been an adult before, so we know how life goes. We know you're really a different person every 10 years. And I would just hate to have this following around my son or my daughter, but they are an adult, and you got to support any decision they make.
Exactly.
Well, John on Twitter agrees, says, I would do everything I could to get my child a job somewhere else. Here's the thing. I'm all for her doing it. She's an adult. It's fine. But she's going to come under a lot of viewership because of who she is, because she's Spielberg's daughter, and that lends to a different world. And I got to be honest, I wouldn't be thrilled. I wouldn't. I mean, I support it, but I would say I'm disappointed.
Yeah, but for the parents out there who aren't thrilled about it, I mean, at least this girl's getting paid. Some of these parents got kids out there doing it for free.
But some people, what if you're a drug dealer? You're still getting paid, but it's illegal.
But
I know this is legal. You're right. This is legal.
This is a legal profession.
I still just think it's. I don't know. I guess I would just feel disappointed, and maybe that's a double standard.
No, it's not. It's a social stigma, Tori, and we have to be honest about that. And most Americans most human beings have seen porn, so I think we all have dirty hands in this, no pun intended. But I think that a lot of people know that the internet is forever. It's written in ink, and anything you say on this show right now, anything we've done in the past, anything we've done in the future will be there in 50 years, 150 years. So it's scary.
Yeah, I agree. Let us know what you think. I'm on the fence on this one. Coming up on DBL, it's never too late for justice, how a young woman's murder almost 40 years ago, thanks to a beer mug, next in True Crime Chronicles.
It's on.
Okay, Tori,
residents.
start over so we can talk to our audience.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, remember them?
Hey. Brady says, Tori, I really needed you last night. Okay. My kindergarten was asking me questions about the White House and presidents, and it was 8 p.m., and my brain was dead.
That's honest.
How do you have kindergartens
Is she a
at
teacher?
8? Yeah, I think so.
You know, it's funny. I don't think people realize like how often your teacher does not know the answer.
I know, when you're
a
like-
lot of times, if I didn't know the answer, I'd be like, you should go look that up yourself
You
because
can
I
do
can't
this.
help you with everything. Okay? Meanwhile, I turn and like start going through the teacher's thing.
You're like, what is this? Google.
Yes.
We were talking about a lot of people not panicking, and I think that's a very special thing. But what most people don't understand is, again, I'm just going to make this curve. Ready? This is what it could look like with the coronavirus, and what people doing by social distancing, the NBA, the NCAA. It's not like all these people will get it and die in the stands, but what they want is the curve to go from this to flatten the curve.
Why does the curve have to go right in front of my face?
Yeah, but I understand.
Where else should it go?
I understand what you're saying about that, Tori, and I'm all about preventative measures.
Yeah.
But the fact that in the end of February, the WHO sent out 60 tests to 60 countries, and the United States declined, and we're behind on this now. We need these tests to figure out where this thing is. You know what I mean? Because if people are unknowingly walking around with this, it doesn't matter if you have crowds of thousands of people. It could be a crowd of 5, but if you have it, we're exposed
You had it
to
and
it.
you didn't know.
You don't know it.
Well,
you
either
know?
way, unless you have these certain symptoms, you can't get tested.
1-800-505-9619 or go to carshield.com. Get covered today.
Welcome back to DBL. 40 years ago, a young woman was just starting her radio career when the unimaginable happened. She was abducted and murdered. Finally, 40 years later, a crack in the case thanks to a stranger and a beer mug. We have an update in DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
Helene Brzezinski was a 21-year-old college student from Massachusetts. The aspiring journalist moved to Denver for an internship at KHOW Radio.
Although I'd only worked with her a very short time, I was convinced right away that she was very bright and had a great sense of humor.
It was January 16th, 1980. Helene was just 2 weeks on the job when she went missing.
It's believed that Ms. Brzezinski got off her bus after work here Wednesday night. She was abducted sometime after that.
The next day,
Ms. Brzezinski's body was found early Thursday. She'd been sexually assaulted and stabbed.
her co-worker Bob Scott would be the one to help identify her body.
This was the toughest assignment I ever had. As a reporter, I'd seen a lot of people dead, but this was a friend of mine.
Police launched a full investigation in search of the killer.
We make as many contacts as we can immediately after a thing like this in an effort to try to talk with people when their memories are still in focus and that they can remember substantial information.
Investigators collected DNA at the scene, but it wasn't enough. A year later, the case went cold. And then, nearly 40 years later,
here we are today where we have an individual who is in custody.
James Curtis Clanton. Investigators had his DNA for years, but there was never a match in the FBI's database. The breakthrough came from genetic genealogy.
Once we started working the genealogy, coming down his family tree, it appeared that his mother was a dead end, but she wasn't.
They found a woman in Georgia who took a genealogy test last summer. Parts of her DNA matched the killer's.
I did not know him. I was a small link in them narrowing it down. I don't even know. It's surreal.
Thanks to Jesse's DNA, investigators were able to make more connections and track down Clanton in Florida. They took his beer mug at a local bar and tested his DNA. It was a match from the crime scene nearly 40 years ago. Clanton was extradited back to Colorado.
How then do you plead to murder in the first degree after deliberation?
Guilty. Clanton puts up no fight.
It was very unusual to hear that kind of remorse and gratitude for the opportunities that he knew he didn't deserve, but that he got.
Most of Brzezinski's relatives have since passed, except for her sister, who can finally find closure 40 years later.
Earlier, Al Lindsay and I spoke with a reporter who's been following the case closely. Let's take a look. We're joined by investigative reporter Kevin Vaughn from 9 News in Denver. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. There's been a huge break in the case. James Clanton pled guilty, right? But did he ever say why he went after Helene? Ever?
He has not said that yet. He's scheduled for sentencing April 10th, and that's the time when he will have a chance to make a statement in court. Whether he'll talk about why he did this, I guess, is another question.
Do you think he will, knowing this case?
Well, he did two things that are unusual. He immediately waived extradition after he was arrested in Florida, and they brought him right back here, and then he pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, did not put the family, the Brzezinski family, through the pain of a trial and that sort of thing. So, you know, I don't know.
Interesting.
I have to ask you this, Kevin. This took place in the 1980s. The law was different then. Does that mean that we might see him get released early, or like how does this affect his sentence?
Yeah, so the 1980 first-degree murder law in Colorado, he will be eligible for parole after 20 years.
Wow.
That doesn't mean he'll be paroled. He'd still have to go to the parole board and have it approved. But he's in his early 60s, so he's going to serve at least into his 80s. And you know, it's hard to predict what a parole board might do 20 years down the road. But he will be eligible for parole. Unlike today, somebody convicted of first-degree murder today gets life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Now, there are reports that James could possibly be linked to other cases in Colorado back in the 90s. Have police followed up on that lead?
That is being investigated. One of the issues is that the statute of limitations on sexual assault is short. It's just a few years, unlike murder, which there is no statute of limitations. So they are looking at some older unsolved sexual assaults to see if there are links. To date, they have not made any of those.
That's always why I've pushed for longer statute of limitations for sexual assault victims. Some of them can't come forward, some don't remember, or things like this happen.
Right.
Kevin, thank you so much for being here. To read more on this case, please visit 9news.com. You can also learn more in a new podcast episode out now. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Kevin, thanks again. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Kevin.
Breaker 325, we got a code 15 over here right in the corner. Yes, that's a code 15 for dirty, nasty hair, my friends. Yes, welcome back to Beauty Blast. First of all, I'm Jeray for the Slay, and today I want to talk about something that's a little personal that we've all should be doing for a while. Yes, we all know that one person who never does it though, their hair always looks real dirty. I'm talking about washing your hair, my friends. This is such a crazy subject because it's a little different for everyone, and it's really something that's personal as well. So let's break it down. You got your textured hair, you got your fine hair, you got slightly curly hair, you got your wavy hair, you got oily hair, you got dry hair, you got nasty hair, you got good hair. There's a lot of hair all over the place, right? But it's important to know what's the right amount of washing to do for your hair. Let's just start with the basics. Shampoo, conditioner. These guys are very important, my friends. There's a lot of people who just use shampoo or just conditioner sometimes, but it's important to use these guys as a pair for your ultimate best hair care, okay? Now, shampoo is important because it's gonna really get in there and cleanse and make sure that we're getting off all that dirt and grime out of our hair so it feels nice and clean. Conditioner is really important because it's going to rehydrate the hair and help to lock in moisture so your hair doesn't actually fray away or actually break off. It's gonna lock in and help build that protein for us. Now that we know the basics, let's go back to the actual care, okay? Now, for a lot of people, they think that you should wash your hair maybe every day. Too much. That's the last thing that you want to do because a lot of the time you can actually dry out your hair from over shampooing it. Now, at the same time, you don't want to be going like 2 weeks or so unless you have extremely curly hair. That's a whole other subject, and I'm not even going to talk on that because you know best, boo-boo, okay? I ain't even going to help you with that. Go ahead, talk to Miss Erica Cobb, and she will get you all set with that hair care journey. However, you want to make sure that you're picking out a hair care system that's going to work best for you. So if you do have more textured or curly hair, you can prolong your shampoo and conditioning typically a little bit longer. Sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks in the dead of winter. If it's 2 weeks, make sure you're taking care of everything, honey, and get that smell together because we want to make sure everything looks cute. At the same time, if you're more on the fine side, every day might be a little bit too much. I recommend at least once every 2 days to keep your hair nice and strong and to not over process it at the same time or over chemical it at the same time. Now, some great shampoo and conditioners you can always find at Ulta, Walmart, even Sephora too, where you can find them for a great affordable pricing. I'm not even gonna go into which ones everyone should use because there's so much of a plethora. So instead, write in and tell me what your favorite shampoo and conditioner is and how often you're washing your hair. Let's chat about it and make this whole conversation a real thing, all right? We'll see you guys next time at Beauty Blast.
Every day we get tons of viewer comments, so we're going to respond to a few of them right now in DBL Viewer Blast Back. Uh-oh, here we go. Please get rid of Brandon Whoa ASAP. He needs to do something else in life.
Ooh. Do we got a clip for that? No clip for that? I just figured I'd do TV because I got good cheekbones and like Jeff, I'm eye candy. Yeah, buddy!
Welcome to Daily Blast Live, Deal Blast. I'm Denise Plant, and we are kicking things off with Nuova White Charcoal Edition LED Teeth Whitening Kit. It not only whitens, but restores and strengthens enamel. This is good for up to 25 treatments. Now, normally, this could cost you as much as $259, but today, only $29 with a savings up to 89% off. Our next item is the Swiss Tech Air Plus i12 wireless earbuds with silicone case. The advanced Bluetooth technology with increased range and stronger connection. Normally it runs as much as $70, but today only $25 with a savings up to 64% off. The Fit and Fresh Premium Travel Tote or Bag. Its padded interior sleeve protects laptops, tablets, and e-readers. Now the main compartment has room for books, clothing, shoes, and more. The tote has a removable shoulder strap and can be attached to your rolling luggage. Normally it could run as high as $60. Today, only $29 with a savings up to 52% off. Finally, our 2-pack Power to Go 3-piece universal smartphone lens kit. It includes 2 sets of 3-in-1 lens kits with carrying case, and all of these lenses clip easily onto your smartphone. Normally, it would run as much as $80. Today, only $12 with a savings up to 85% off. To get these great deals and more, go to morningsave.com, hit Daily Blast Live, Deal Blast.
Ooh, you love those sweet,
Y'all
sweet
know
deals.
I love a sweet, sweet deal. The best one I saw is that camera for your phone because, you know, I like to take a lot of videos. And
yes.
So this could, Brandon usually asks me to take photos of him like I'm his personal photographer.
That's true.
And so having a better lens will really help with that.
You know what Deal Blast needs?
What?
Some deals on some coronavirus testing kits.
Oh,
That's what we need to get
nice.
next.
Way to bring it full circle.
Come on, we're trying to end on a light note.
Sweet deals, baby.
We'll
Get
see
the
you
lenses.
same time, same place tomorrow. Teeth whitening's good too.